robot.
So robots building robots.
Humanoids are back in the spotlight. Elon Musk says that Tesla's Optimus robot will be the biggest product in human history. And if he's right, robots might be coming for all of our jobs. But at the moment, they're literally hobbling towards us at 1 mile an hour. So, while there's still time, let's all take a deep breath and think this through. Do robots really need human-like bodies? Are humanoids actually good nowadays, or are they just froth pushed on us by AI LARPs? And just how worried do we need to be about our future with robots? Stay tuned to find out. For the last 100 years, humans have been obsessed with robots. The idea that humanoids will one day bring about a utopia, dystopia, or plain old extinction has fascinated us since at least 1920. That was the year that the Czech playwright K. Čapek introduced the word robot to the English language in a play entitled Rossum's Universal Robots. Now, the word came from the Czech robota, meaning forced labour. In turn, robota came from the Slavic root rab, meaning slave. So it's no wonder then that the prospect of robots becoming sentient has spooked us for so long. Ever since Čapek's play, science fiction has been probing our fear of what robots might do to us. In 1927, Fritz Lang's Metropolis depicted a humanoid created by the ruling class to maintain their control over society. The robot manipulates the emotions and beliefs of workers and incites violence amongst them to justify their brutal repression by the authorities. Later works asked how robot behaviour could be governed by ethical guidelines. In his 1950 anthology I, Robot, the author Isaac Asimov proposed 3 laws of robotics. These state that a robot must not harm humans, must obey human orders unless they conflict with the first law, and must protect its own existence unless doing so conflicts with the first or second law. Now, these laws left ample room for the moral conflicts and logical paradoxes explored in Asimov's work. For example, what happens when robots governed by strict rules start interpreting them in ways that go beyond their original intent? How much of a robot's ethical code could be altered before it becomes dangerous? What happens when a robot develops its own beliefs that contradict human knowledge? And so on. Ultimately, Asimov took an optimistic view, suggesting ethical programming could avert any robot-related disaster. And if you're thinking, hang on, this doesn't sound like the iRobot I remember, well, you'd be right. In the 2004 Hollywood adaptation of iRobot, humans live alongside humanoids in the year 2035. The robots are governed by Asimov's 3 laws, but of course the AI powering them evolves too far and tries to take over the world. Specifically, its interpretation of the first law leads to a robot insurgency that's prepared to harm humans in order to save humanity from its own wars, pollution, and violence. And naturally, it was this version of iRobot that inspired Tesla's latest product showcase entitled We Robot. Now, Tesla's new offerings include a smaller driverless taxi and a larger driverless taxi, which looks a bit like a bus. But don't worry, it's not a bus, because that would be public transport. Anyway, the crowd was also treated to another glimpse of Tesla's own humanoid robot, Optimus, which has been in development since 2021. This sparked renewed interest in humanoids, but not because of any great leap forward with Optimus. Optimus has in fact been showcased several times since 2022, and this year it once again dazzled us with its ability to walk extremely slowly. Instead, the juicy takeaway was Elon Musk's claim that Optimus would cost $20,000 to $30,000 to purchase and be, quote, the biggest product ever of any kind. These were 2 pretty bold claims, and they certainly got people talking. Of course, it wasn't the first time a business has made ambitious predictions about the future success of its humanoid project. Ever since scientists at Tokyo's Waseda University created the first walking, talking, and object-grabbing humanoid robot in 1973, tech companies have been dreaming up ways to commercialize robots that look like people. And for decades, Japan was the epicenter of commercial humanoid development. By the year 2000, Honda was producing its own humanoid, Asimo, that could walk, run, climb stairs, and recognize faces and voices. Honda envisioned that it would assist humans in homes and hospitals. It was a remarkable technical achievement, but almost 2 decades after its launch, production costs were still too high to make Asimo commercially viable, and it was discontinued in 2018. In 2015, SoftBank launched a robot called Pepper, capable of recognizing emotions and engaging in conversation. Pepper was designed for customer-facing roles in retail and customer service, and at the time, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son claimed it would see widespread adoption in homes, stores, and offices, and revolutionize how businesses interact with customers. However, despite an impressive price point of $1,800, Pepper struggled to find practical applications in homes and businesses at scale, and there was little demand. Only 27,000 units were ever made, and Pepper was discontinued in June 2021. Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just want to very quickly tell you about the Coin Bureau deals page. This is the place where we put together all the amazing deals and promos that we're able to offer you guys exclusively as viewers of this channel. Head on over and you will find such things as discounts on hardware wallets, some seriously impressive trading fee discounts on some of the best exchanges, as well as some frankly mind-boggling sign-up bonuses for some of those exchanges too. The link is down below. Check it out when you have a moment. Thank me later. And now, back to the video. This was perhaps unfortunate timing because just 2 months later, Tesla's announcement of Optimus gave the by then rather passé humanoid sector a huge boost of attention and investor interest. Some of Tesla's competitors were skeptical, however. Sanctuary AI, for example, is a Canadian company that has been working on general-purpose humanoids and artificial general intelligence since 2018. In an interview this year, CEO Geordie Rose made disparaging comments about his competitors, accusing them of being too preoccupied with making cool videos for the internet. This could have been directed at any number of companies, including Tesla. However, Rose also said, quote, "If you think about why humanoids are a thing now, it's Elon Musk. We were talking about it way before him, but nobody was listening because we're not Elon Musk." Now, Rose believes that Tesla is Sanctuary's only serious competitor and said that, quote, "All of the other companies who are doing this don't get it." And following Tesla's Optimus announcement, investment in robotics companies rose sharply. At the end of 2021, global investment was up 41% year-on-year, from $16.3 billion to $23 billion. In April 2022, humanoid developer Agility Robotics raised $150 million. This was more than 7 times the amount raised in its previous funding round in 2020. Previously, leading companies like Agility and Boston Dynamics had been well respected, but general-purpose humanoid robots weren't viewed as close to commercialization. Investment was speculative and niche, and capital more readily flowed into proven automation technologies for manufacturing, logistics, and adjacent industries. That's because, as Geordie Rose has explained, the only reason to create a humanoid is if you need a truly general-purpose robot. For example, one that can quickly learn and adapt to new tasks, problems, and environments. Every other application is better served by purpose-built robots, which have no need to resemble a human. There's a reason that factories and warehouses have automated using conveyors, robotic arms, shuttles, drones, and other automated machinery and vehicles, and not humanoids. Now, Tesla says it is trialling Optimus in its own factories, and promo footage showed Optimus sorting parts on a production line. According to Rose's line of thinking, this isn't a practical or salient use case for an artificially intelligent humanoid because there are already purpose-built machines that are better suited for this kind of task. On the other hand, few workplaces are fully automated, and there are still plenty of people performing repetitive mechanical tasks. Factories and warehouse facilities may be full of machinery, which may be automated to some extent, but they're still environments built for humans to move around and work in. For companies who own such facilities and struggle to hire or keep workers to fill them, recruiting humanoid robots instead of humans would be a practical solution if it were cost-effective. But so far, cost has been a major barrier to humanoid adoption. In countries like the US, this is exacerbated by persistently cheap labour. Between 1973 and 2013, worker productivity increased by 75%, but hourly compensation was up just 9.2%. As of 2024, the federal minimum wage is still $7.25 per hour. At this rate, it's going to be hard for humanoids to compete with those pesky humans. And at the moment, the commercial competition looks something like this.
Hey, this is Nick from Hard Reset, and I'm here with Digit from Agility Robotics. Say hi, Digit.
So this is Digit, the $250,000 humanoid from Agility Robotics, designed for repetitive mechanical tasks in logistics and warehousing. Its capabilities include picking stuff up and walking around. So, a bit like the robot they made at Waseda back in the 70s, but it has smiley LED eyes now. Last year, Agility Robotics announced it would scale up production of Digit at its new factory in Oregon. To give you an idea of what they mean by scaling, Agility now has the capacity to produce hundreds of units per year, with plans to increase capacity to thousands in the near future. Between that price tag and production capacity, you probably don't have to worry about running into Digit at work anytime soon. But this was why such a stir was caused when Elon Musk said that Optimus would cost $20,000 to $30,000 long term and be able to do, quote, anything you can think of. By the way, he didn't suggest any timeline apart from saying long term a few times. Nonetheless, if we think 10 to 20 years down the line, this price target seems inevitable, if not conservative. The whole history of hardware manufacturing points in this direction. In the early 1960s, the cost of computing was around $1,000 per transistor, but by 2020, it had dropped to fractions of a penny. In 1980, the price of storing 1 gigabyte of data was around $100,000. By 2020, it was around 1 cent. Between 2010 and 2020, the cost of an EV battery pack fell from $1,100 per kilowatt hour to $137 per kilowatt hour. The list goes on. If there is enough demand and investment, there is no reason why the cost of manufacturing humanoids won't follow the same trajectory. Production costs are already falling rapidly. However, one thing that is getting increasingly expensive to develop is AI. Let's talk about that. Tesla's Optimus brought back interest in humanoids in 2021, but let's be real, it was the release of ChatGPT in November 2022 and the subsequent AI explosion that turbocharged the sector. We've seen how the cost of hardware tends to decrease over time, but energy consumption for training AI models doesn't necessarily follow the same curve. According to OpenAI, the compute power required to train large AI models has been doubling every 3 to 4 months. By April of 2024, ChatGPT reportedly cost $700,000 a day to operate. The US data center industry already accounts for 2% of national energy consumption, and this percentage is likely to grow rapidly. Meanwhile, the total installed capacity of the US power grid has grown at a rate of just 0.6% per year since 2000. You don't need to be a maths whiz to see where this is going. Vast amounts of our finite energy resources are going to be spent chasing diminishing returns in large AI models, and aside from the great financial cost, it could become a thorny political issue too. Now, you might think that AI models are something that we should consider separately from robotics. After all, ChatGPT is just something we use on our computers and phones. AI is going to strain the power grid and burn trillions of dollars whether we plug it into humanoid bodies or not. However, robotics and AI may be less separable than you think. We all know that the goal of companies developing AI is to create artificial general intelligence, or AGI, which refers to a similar level of intelligence to a human. AGI is what would have to inhabit a robot to make it behave like a person. Now, the current AI buzz has been driven by large language models, which are basically just pattern recognition systems. They appear intelligent, but don't understand the meaning of their own output. They don't do common sense reasoning, they can't direct their own learning, and they don't possess true problem-solving abilities or creative intuition. And crucially, these models can never truly understand the world, because to understand the world is to inhabit it. No amount of text input could ever get a large language model to understand what a rose smells like, or how velvet feels, or what it feels like to stub your toe or lose all your money on a meme coin, and so on. This is why leaders in the field of AI are increasingly committed to giving AI a body, because without one, there is no AGI. Some are now taking a leap of faith and trying to develop large behavioural models. The assumption is that the method that has worked for large language models, namely feeding them vast amounts of text data, could work with any natural data so long as it has a lot of structure, as language does. If this holds true, you could try to record as much of the input and output that travels through the human brain as possible, and create from it a neural network that takes in perception and outputs action in the same way that humans do. This is what companies like Sanctuary AI have been doing with their humanoids. They equip the robot with vision, hearing, touch, and proprioception, meaning the ability to sense one's own position, movement, and orientation in space. Taste and smell, apparently not so much, but they're less of a priority. The humanoid is made to perform work tasks, and all of the sensory data is recorded and then used to train a large behavioural model. If the premise holds true, then you should have the world's first generally intelligent model. When this model inhabits a humanoid robot, it should be able to perceive the physical world and hopefully learn just enough about it to perform all of the most thankless, difficult, dirty, and dangerous tasks that we don't want to. Just don't call them robots to their face, though, because they'll clock the etymology, and then we're really cooked. Now, I've seen enough movies to know how this story ends. But don't take FUD from me. The same people forcing AI down our throats are also warning about how dangerous it could be. You'll probably remember the open letter to this effect that was signed by more than 1,000 industry leaders last year. They warned of catastrophic outcomes for humanity if AI systems outsmart us and become too powerful to be controlled. And they called for an urgent pause in AI development while they figure out what the heck they're building. So, what motivated this letter? Maybe it was a publicity stunt, but to what end? Do these people have an interest in fudding their own industry? They probably meant what they said, though, because for all the progress made in computing and AI over the last half-century, there hasn't been any equivalent leap forward in our understanding of consciousness. Nobody really has a clue what consciousness is, nor if AGI is going to synthesize it, nor what that would mean for our species. On the other hand, the letter's signatories were mostly from North America and Europe, and it could have been a cynical ploy to FUD the development of AI in countries that they don't like. After all, they warn of the importance of aligning AI with human values. But this is a contentious concept among humans, and one that varies from place to place. Human values are generally decided by whoever has the biggest stick, and you can be sure that one day they're going to use artificially intelligent humanoids to enforce these values in military and police settings. Okay, deep breaths. We probably don't need to panic just yet. Most of us have heard of the singularity, which means a point where machines become more intelligent than us. It's a very memeable idea, not least because one of its most famous proponents is a director of engineering at Google who says it will happen in 2045. But this is a minority view. Most people in the AI industry agree that AGI, let alone the singularity, is still a very long way off. Think decades or possibly never. Google Brain co-founder Andrew Ng has said that, quote, worrying about AGI is like worrying about overpopulation on Mars. So, without getting too carried away, what conclusions can we draw from all of this? Well, if it's any comfort, robots and automation have been replacing humans for decades already. This has been done with much less than a humanoid body, let alone AGI. Amazon, for example, doesn't need humanoids to walk around and move items in its warehouses. It has an efficient automated warehouse system for this already. It remains to be seen whether humanoids like Digit are the best solution for repetitive manual tasks in environments like these. And arguably, humanoids are pointless if they aren't truly general purpose. A general purpose humanoid will need general intelligence, and to build artificial general intelligence, you need a humanoid body. If all of this is true, then for the time being, the main use case for humanoids is probably going to be for training large behavioural models. Until there are major breakthroughs in this field, we're a little sceptical about their prospects for large-scale adoption. After the latest Optimus showcase, Bloomberg reported that the robots were being remote-controlled by Tesla employees. Admittedly, this was an improvement over 2022, when Optimus had to be physically carried onto the stage. But still, they must have been having a bit of a laugh when they named the event We Robot. So, Optimus might be the next big thing. But then again, people said the same when Honda was doing remote-controlled public demos of Asimo back in the 2000s. For the time being, we'd suggest taking the humanoid hype with a pinch of salt. Alright, that's enough robot ruminating for one video. Let us know what you think the future holds for humanoids and AGI in the comments. If you learned something new, drop us a like and make sure you're subscribed and have your bell notification switched on so you never miss another video. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. This is Guy over and 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 this is Guy over.